Yo, what's up?
Hey everyone, how you doing? It's me again. I'm back. So this is something new that I'm doing on my channel today that I'm gonna start doing very regularly, and that is album reviews. So you might as well call me Angrego Fantano from now on. Don't do that. So you guys might not actually know this, but prior to me, doing my YouTube channel and stuff, I did do a lot of album reviews, like on my old blog post website, and yeah, I would just share them, but like they wouldn't really get a lot of attention. So I just thought, might as well just do it on YouTube. And so, which album has the honour of drawing first blood? I believe that album is an album that has been released this year. It's Nectar by the one and only Joji, or George Miller. So for those of you who don't know who Joji is, he started up on YouTube as Filthy Frank, and yeah, it was quite an experience watching his videos, let me just say that. However, in 2017, Joji, or George, retired the Filthy Frank show in order to pursue a career in music. He'd already done stuff like that under the alias Pink Guy and already released an album under Pink Guy, which is Pink Season. Go check it out, it's certainly worth a listen. And prior to Nectar as well, he'd already released an album called Ballads 1, which I have listened to as well. It is a good album, it is a bit kind of unbalanced in some places, but it's just like sometimes albums are like that. It can be it can be tough with debut albums, but how does Nectar compare with that? Well, basically, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going track by track and just analysing every track on this album. However, as there's 18 tracks in total, it's a few of the songs aren't going to be as in-depth analysis as some others, so yeah, sorry. So the first track that we have on Nectar is the track Ooh, and it is a very somber opener with twinkling piano and kind of chamber-like strings almost. I don't actually know if Joji managed to get like a live string section on this track, but like they sound really realistic. Like they're not. Like if you listen to them, you wouldn't think like they were synthesized or anything. Um, but yeah, Joji's vocals on this track are it really captures the emotion of the song. A strong falsetto. I mean, already the theme of this album has been kind of captured already. Very dark and melancholic, and it's one to get you in the feels already. But yeah, it was definitely a strong opener in my opinion. Then we move on to track 2 of the album, which is the track Modus. Another track dominated by piano. Strings are there as well. I'm always wondered, like the piano, like does Joji play it himself, or is it like just all samples? I've just always been intrigued to know about it. But Modus has more of a Ballads 1 vibe to it, and it's like kind of like Joji's kind of just talking to himself here. I mean, the chorus isn't really as hard hitting as the previous track, but it still has a bit of a catch to it. Now we're on to TikTok, track number 3. We're away from twinkly piano this time, and we have clean guitars this time, and I think it kind of has a Ballads 1 vibe like Modus as well, and it kind of reminiscent of kind of Joji's past work, and another. I mean, particularly the line "that time keeps slipping away." Yeah, the hook that Joji sings. It's a bit shorter, the song, than the rest of the 2 tracks. Really, like I feel as a track, like it stops before it gets really good. So that's the only thing I'll say about that one. Now, Daylight, this one, like Ooh, kind of has, you know, a different sound to Joji, which I kind of like here. Also, his vocals are really good. Guitars you hear in the verse, you know, they hit as well. It does sound a wee bit more mainstream, but I think, you know, it works. Um, Song features Diplo as well as the producer, and he did a good job, you know, getting the right kind of sounds and elements in there as well. And musically, it's one of the best on the album so far, if you get me. So we then have this a minute and a half interlude upgrade, which is just it just has a piano intro and then has a bit of ukulele backing and a Latin beat put in there as well. I mean, it's really a filler track. It isn't a track considered to have like real significance like the preceding track or like the first two. Now, Gimme Love is an interesting track because it has a kind of change in feel kind of halfway through. Like it goes from a kind of fast electronic beat and a kind of pop hook to like a big, you know, emotional ballad with a kind of like a climax there. You know, usually, you know, it's when I heard this track at first, I'm like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't have done that myself, but I think Joji's able to pull it off really well. Like, cause I can imagine Gimme Love being like a breakdown and a failed, you know, love chance. The first section's somewhat optimistic, but the second section is where the protagonist is all caught up and can't let go. You know, it's kind of like the first track in a way, but just portrayed a little bit differently. You know, it's despite its unorthodox structure, you know, it's another good emotional track from Joji, in my opinion. Now we get to my personal favourite on the album, Run. Joji's vocals are just amazing on this track. Like, again, he really captures the desperation of the song. You know, it's just him just wanting to run away. You know, especially in the chorus, you know, the falsetto's coming back again. But we got to talk about the guitar solo. Oh my. Like, Joji's vocals are incredible on this track, but the guitar solo shouldn't be slept on, in my opinion. You know, the guitarist who played on the track, a guy called Jaco Caraco. Yeah, nice name. He nailed it, honestly. Really nailed it. And it's almost like a kind of like 80s rock ballad in a way, like, but really powerful vocals, dark and forbidding riff, excellent chorus, fantastic guitar solo. You know, this might be my favourite song of Joji's ever done so far. So, Sanctuary, first single to be released, so I've already had plenty of listens to it before the album came out. Dreamy like synths, which I like. Heavenly like vocals in the chorus, which are, you know, pretty cool as well. You know, Joji again, excellent vocals. It's definitely the perfect song to tease first because, you know, you want to get a song that people can hear with you, like one of the better songs on the album, and I think they did a good idea to tease Sanctuary and Run first. I just love the chorus in this track as well. You know, it's one of these kind of choruses that will make the hairs on your arms stand up a wee bit, if you get me. So we then get to High Hopes. I'll be honest, I think we do take a little bit of a slump here. Joji's vocals are a bit more restrained and he's not really putting in as much effort as, you know, the last three tracks. I think High Hopes is kind of like the come down, you know, from the last three, because you've had like three really intense ones and then you've got High Hopes. Yeah, like I just think that hook's a bit boring and it kind of a bit drony in some ways. But second featured artist, Omar Apollo, he doesn't really do much as well. You know, I think his vocals on this one are a bit generic too. So yeah, that's my opinion on High Hopes. But yeah, Nitrous, which is next, not really much to analyse with it. It's just like upgrade another filler track. You know, it's just kind of repetitive synths, repetitive style vocals. Really, Nitrous doesn't really contribute much. And Pretty Boy, again, like High Hopes, there isn't much to the song other than a hook that includes the title and a few chops of random synth notes. We do get another featured artist, Little Yachty, who honestly, like, despite the heavy autotune, yeah, doesn't really do a bad job as a featured artist here. Again, like High Hopes, I just find it a bit boring. Track 12, Normal People. This one is a little bit better. It features Joji's longtime friend Ray Brown, who is rumoured to have played a character on Filthy Frank. It is actually quite ironic in a way that, the creator of Filthy Frank releases a song called Normal People, who would have thought? Singing's a little bit better, a bit more, not restrained. Ray Brown, his vocals fit on the track as well, really smooth, but definitely better than tracks 9 to 11 anyway. Afterthought, 3 features in a row, this time with Benny or Benny, I don't know how to pronounce her name, someone in the comments will correct me. Yeah, this one, again, a little bit better. More of an R&B feel. Joji's vocals are a lot better on this track as well. There's more emotion, compared to a track like High Hopes. Sorry, I'm just going to keep doing that. Benny or Benny, I'm going to get slaughtered in the comments for this, does a good job as well. And, like Ray Brown on the last track, she really belongs on it. And I think, like Sanctuary, it's another one of these songs that has the hairs on your arms stand up a wee bit. It's almost like Sanctuary's sister track in a way. We then get to the next 3 tracks on the album, Mr. Hollywood, 777 and Reanimator. Yeah, like, it's just a bit filler, like all 3 of them. Mr. Hollywood's just kind of, I get a 1975 vibe with it, not a 1975 the 1975. It's just kind of like something that they would have released in 2018. I mean, the autotune isn't overbearing, and the vocals, there's some emotion to it, but it's just a bit of a forgettable track. 777, I'll be honest, it's kind of like the weakest track on the album for me. Like, it's just kind of 2 ideas just kind of mashed together and not really executed in the best way. But I think I like what Joji kind of went for, a kind of 80s synth pop vibe. But I think this track does sound a bit out of place on the album. It's on an album with melancholic ballads, you then get a track like 777, which is like, 80s rebirth almost. And then Reanimator, which is, again, it's almost interlude like Nitrous or Upgrade. We do get a feature here with, I don't know how to pronounce his first name, Yves or Huevez. I'm so bad at pronunciations. I mean, it explains the electronic elements in this track, but again, it's not one I'm gonna really remember. So track 17, Like You Do, I mean, it's back to the kind of classic Joji, if you can say that. The emotional vocals are back, the kind of ballady stuff. Instrumentation is class as well. Joji's vocals are just really capture it, honestly, especially in the chorus. But it's definitely my favourite track on the second side of the album, and it's definitely one to get the hankies out, because you always need a track like that, and Like You Do is that track. And finally, we have Your Man. Now, a lot of people, on Joji's Instagram and stuff, said it was kind of like the weakest track on the album, and it's definitely not the best track in my opinion. You know, in an album where it's dominated by kind of sad and somber sounding songs, you know, at least the last track sounds somewhat optimistic, somewhat positive. You know, and unlike other tracks, you know, this one verges into, you know, house, EDM kind of stuff. Okay, yeah. um, I find the scat singing that Joji does as well, like on the intro and midway through, really catchy as well. Because you always need, you know, something like that. And, you know, the beat, I like the beat as well. Plus, the ending has, you know, vocoded vocals, and you know how much I love my vocoded vocals. So, with all the tracks reviewed, what is my personal opinion on Nectar as a whole? I definitely think it's Joji's best album so far. You know, there's some brilliant songs, and I think he's only growing as an artist. That being said, however, I think the second side of the album, there's a bit of inconsistency, and each track I don't think really flows in with each other as much. The collaborations, some were better than others, but I think for his next album for Joji, I'd like to see him do more tracks like Ooh, like Daylight, you know, Gimme Love, Run, you know, those four. This album, I think, has him in a more kind of mainstream light, and it shows in some tracks. I think that some tracks could have maybe have been discarded, but on the whole, you know, Joji's vocals are getting a lot better, and I like how he's adding, you know, more elements, you know, and different kind of instrumentation to his songs, like, you know, like strings, like heavy guitars, even the percussion, you know, more flexibility in his sound, which I like. You know, I always love it when artists do that. But yeah, Nectar, good album, brilliant first side, okay second side. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. But yeah, guys and girls and dogs and cats, thanks for tuning in to my first album review. I've got plenty more planned, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed these, make sure to like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you soon. Peace.